Welcome, everyone, to Werewolf Radar, the premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name is Roger Norquist.
I'm Nate Baldwin.
And we are -1 Jordan Dahl, but do not worry, he is in the catacombs of Redacted right now and enjoying his vacation from the bunker. The Speaking Skull has let him out for a fortnight. But he can only go to catacombs and cities with catacombs, so He's in Redacted for right now. But we shall press on. This episode is still sponsored by the one and only Monstroco and their new product, the Monstroco Homicide Detective. Are you in need of a grizzled New York City homicide detective to help you track down the murderer of your wife? Monstroco Homicide Detective can not only find the suspect, but bring your dead lover back, although they will be changed. Monstroco Homicide Detective. What the
I also like the idea of a Monstroco homicide detector. It's just a police scanner.
Maybe that's for next week, you know? The products from Monstroco are never-ending, as are the nightmares. Would you like to hold the Speaking Skull first, Nate, as I seem to have closed my windows? But we both got some great segments.
I'll slide out the little box that we keep it in, creak it open, reach into the velour case we keep it in.
It's so nice and clean in there, but when we take it out, everything else gets so messy.
Oh, yeah, it is covered in blood and ichor. Oh, Spidey. So I'm going to return to you know what? It was a previously unnamed segment, but I think I have a good name for it. Ilando Kilrizian. These are the most
I can't
haunted
even begin. Okay, that makes
most
more
haunted
sense
islands
now.
in the world.
I'm not very bright, okay? And puns go over my head 80% of the time.
It's all right. They're real dumb. So here's our first one. We'll go with is Daksa Island.
Where's it at? How can I get there? And do I need a passport?
Well, I'm about to tell you all of that, and you will need a passport.
Boo! It's such a stupid long line now in America. They changed the rules, Nate.
Oh, I know. They don't want us leaving.
I know.
They don't want anyone coming in.
It's very clear how they don't want anyone leaving.
Located on the coast of the Adriatic Sea in the region of Dalmatia in Croatia, there is the prosperous and historical city of Dubrovnik. The city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is renowned as a premier tourist spot throughout Europe and the world. A vacation spot that has played host over the years to such big names. I don't know why they're telling us this part, because this is not about the island yet. But has played host over the years to such big name stars as, let's rate them all. Catherine Zeta-Jones, rating 1 to 10. How big are the name?
8, because of the time she became a sexual icon and my sexual maturity.
Michael Douglas.
Same thing, but for different reasons and different interactions.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
I don't care much for her. A 3.
Yeah, well, she's got the goop thing going on.
That really lowered it. It was like a 5 and then goop. And then goop. And then she kept doing goop.
Tom Cruise.
Dude, weirdly, much respect to him as a professional and a craftsman. I hear good things about his productions and the people he works with. And he does his own stunts. He'll break his leg.
That's true.
8.
Sharon Stone.
Dude, 9 or 10. Much respect for her. Not sure why. I'm sure she's a monster, but much respect to her.
Clint Eastwood.
Oh, a 6. You just happen to be in the Sergio Leone films. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose the Dirty Harrys kind of led to the grimy 70s violence renaissance.
Fair. I'll bump
Uh,
it up to a 7 for you.
and Steven Spielberg.
Uh, I don't know.
Never heard of him.
Never. Yeah. Who is he? I'll give the newcomer a 5.
All right. Fair. Very fair. Situated just 1.5 nautical miles from this resort paradise, just in front of Dubrovnik's Port Gruz, is a tiny island town known as a tiny island rather known as Daksa, a name
Doxa.
a name derived from the Greek word dexios, meaning right hand. Long known as a haven for sailors seeking to take shelter from foul weather, and once home to a 13th century Franciscan monastery, the island is the smallest of the Elafite archipelago, being a mere 500 meters long and 200 meters wide, for a total area of just about 17 acres.
That's pretty
So,
big. I live in a
but
500 square foot apartment, and I think I have a lot of room.
right, but you could walk across this in a
A
pretty
day.
short period of time.
I take a lot of breaks when I walk, so it'd take me a full day, but a normal person probably take them like what, an hour at most?
Yeah, probably. Although you would want to stop because despite its picturesque cypress woodland, orange grove, quaint lighthouse, ruins, and attractive idyllic views, Daksa could easily be mistaken for just another of Croatia's 10,000 other Adriatic islands and islets.
Hmm.
However, this tiny uninhabited speck of land sitting practically a stone's throw from one of Europe's most prestigious resort cities has a dark shadow hanging over its history and is the scene of one of the most violent, horrific incidents the region has ever seen. So,
Go
I mean,
on.
it sounds like a beautiful spot.
It does. And to be fair, lots of places in the old world and even places of America are beautiful and have a few massacres, wars, things of mass genocide happen on the land.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's the birth of a nation, man. It's always violence. Uh, I do not support the birth of a nation as a movie.
But you know who did? Woodrow Wilson. Look into that
Of
racist.
course he did, yeah. For most of World War II, the country of Croatia did not even exist, instead being a part of Yugoslavia and invaded by Nazi forces at the start of the war. The Germans went to great lengths to capitalize on the Croatians' contempt for the Serbs, who they thought had been given too much power since Yugoslavia had been created at the end of World War I. Under Nazi control, Croatia was made an independent state, and Croatian soldiers were pressured to change sides. At the same time, which goddamn fuckers forcing people to commit genocide. At the same time, a vicious campaign of persecution was launched against the Serbs, and the Jews and the Romani and Croatians not loyal to the fascist Ustasha regime, which the Nazis had put into power. Through a merciless bloodbath of violence, massacres, and the notorious Jasenovac concentration camp, it's estimated that hundreds of thousands of people lost their lives in these dark days. This black cloud of violence hanging over the region did not lift until the Nazi-backed Ustasha fell from power and Croatia became a republic within the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. Itself
What
a
now, capitalist?
part of the
Who came
USSR.
to save you? Was it the socialist of Soviet Union? I rest my case for once. Don't talk about the other time.
Considering the ruthless slaughter and suffering they had endured, it is perhaps not surprising that many of the Croatians under this new government still had a bad taste in their mouth concerning the Nazis. Oh, no shit. and were intent on getting vengeance against those who had oppressed them and their sympathizers. This seething lust for revenge boiled until October 18th, 1944, when a mob of Yugoslav partisans, howling for blood, descended upon the city of Dubrovnik and proceeded to start arbitrarily arresting anyone who they thought could be a Nazi or a Nazi supporter. In total, more than 300 citizens of the city were rounded up, including the newly appointed mayor of Dubrovnik, Niko Kaprivica, and the local parish priest Petar Pirica. 53 of them, along with the mayor and the priest, were brought over to the uninhabited island of Daksa, where the prisoners awaited a horrible fate amidst its ruins and quaint seaside views. What a fun juxtaposition. Here on the island of Daksa, every last one of the 53 prisoners was mercilessly executed without any trial, mostly by gunshot to the head. The bodies of the dead were more or less left to rot where they fell, being unceremoniously dumped into two shallow mass graves. When the ruthless executioners returned to the mainland after carrying out their dark work, they distributed flyers throughout Dubrovnik that announced that a number of the residents of the city had been sentenced to death by firing squad in the name of the peoples of Yugoslavia, as well as the victims' names. The outraged relatives of those killed, many of which staunchly denied any involvement with the Nazis, were further told that the same fate would await them if they should feel the inclination to go investigate the island where their loved ones had been gunned down in cold blood.
Oh.
And, I mean, unless they were Nazis, in which case, who cares?
People were passionate at the time. And only in this time of peace that I live in can I say, let's slow down, everyone. What this is fresh from, the Nazis be killing random people here, took in some of my family. You can all die.
Yeah.
You know, that's that heat of war.
Uh, Interestingly, at the time, only the names of 35 of the victims were listed in the flyer, and this would be the official number for many decades as no one bothered to venture to Daxa to check it out.
Because they threatened me.
Right. Although, that was probably a short-term thing, but it's not until September 2009 that the gruesome truth would start to come to light. It was then that an initial 6 bodies were uncovered on Doxa, and after that, the president of the Croatian Helsinki Committee, Ivo Banak, called for an investigation. An archaeological examination of the island was launched, which uncovered 2 separate grave sites, one of which was located within an old farmhouse basement, and anthropological examinations of the remains that were found identified a total of 53 distinct victims who were all male.
Nice, that's me.
So, yeah, exactly. You can relate.
Boys Club.
We're the He-Man woman haters, and we're all taking bullets. Along with the remains was an assortment of various other objects, such as buttons, necklaces, rosaries, a priestly collar, crosses, bullets, of course, and bullet shells. Then in June 2010, many of the remains were moved back to the mainland and finally given a proper burial after rotting in their shallow grave for over 60 years. Although 53 sets of remains were found, it's believed that there could be even more buried somewhere on the island that have not been unearthed yet. Despite the ghastly nature of the findings and the callous barbarity of the massacre, not a single person has ever been arrested or tried, and the guilt or innocence of the victims has never been established. Well, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, let's just no offense to the victims' families and whatnot, but it was a heated moment.
It's a war crime.
Okay, it was a heated moment. Let's everyone apologize to each other
Shake
and
hands.
try to shake hands and try to build a country and maybe eventually, you know, figure out who did it, but apologize Everyone, say sorry like you mean it.
And
Good.
now we go to the potluck.
Yeah, now we can go to the family potluck. Get in the car.
Uh, pardon me. It is perhaps this bloody, dark history and the lack of justice in no one ever answering for the crime that has made the island of Daxa, unsurprisingly, an allegedly intensely haunted place. Those
Th-
who come here,
This is
yeah,
how you
great.
do it. This is how you make a haunted place, everyone. If you want the recipe, war crime. First, if you can, a war crime's the best and only ingredient. But sometimes you got to do more.
Those who come here report hearing voices whisper in their ear, or a profound sense of being watched, as well as an almost palpable sense of panic and dread. Even more frightening is that disembodied voices of the unjustly murdered are said on occasion to howl at visitors to go away, and those who do venture upon the desert island have reported all manner of ghostly activity, such as being pushed, poked, scratched, and shoved by unseen hands. Here's a terrifying one. Rowboats that approach the island are also sometimes said to experience being rocked or banged from the bottom by an invisible force.
Ooh, I hate it.
Yeah,
They definitely have the rocks and tides mapped out. That's very weird.
yeah, it seems like it's always probably pretty quiet seas, part of an archipelago. Uh, but where's there are also
Could be a
apparently
shark though, like random
could be
sharks.
could be random sharks. There are also apparently many apparitions and shadow figures that are regularly seen lurking about the island, particularly in the vicinity of the mass graves, as well as orbs and mysterious lights. These rumors of restless, vengeful ghosts are so pervasive that it's enough to keep most people from daring to venture to this otherwise pristine, romantic locale, even during peak tourist season. Even the current owners of the island, Nila Perica Dusilo Florschutz and Franica Dusilo Kavich, won't live there and have indeed been actively seeking to sell it for years.
How much? Is it
Well,
within the werewolf radar fortune amount?
we're about to find out.
Okay. If you want to help us buy a haunted island that we can all visit as a group, join our Patreon at patreon.com/werewolf radar. You can become a Dark Council member. So all the cost go to our hosting fees, treating us every once in a while. And if we save enough money buying this goddamn island.
So it was originally put up for sale by the owners for an asking price of $6 million,
Okay, we need a lot
but
of Dark Council members.
but the
But
persistent spooky rumors and numerous reports of ghosts on the island have long scared off potential buyers, with the price falling steadily over the years to a mere 2 million euros.
dude.
Totally doable, man.
Okay,
With its
here's
unspoiled
what we
attractive,
do.
uh, dig up the ghosts, send them to Dubrovnik.
That's reasonable. Okay, so
And
here's
then we charge the fee of the island to have, you know, removed all of its spirits.
all of us, everyone listening. Shh. Can we all promise to be cool about this? Okay, good. So here's what I'm thinking. Everyone listening right now, we all agree to take out a number of credit cards.
I'm
Good, good,
listening.
good. Now, with that credit card, we need a jumbo loan. This might even be a super jumbo loan, but this is within our due. We need, I don't want to pay a mortgage insurance, so we need 20% of 2 million. What is that, Nate?
20% of 2 million would be 400,000.
400,000. Okay, so we need enough credit to get $400,000 for a down payment, and then we need
Wait,
the two
euros.
euros. Sorry, two, four. Anyway, yes, we need 400,000 money unit. We need that for down payment. Then we get the super loan. The two best of us with our credit, the two best credits out of all of us come together. We co-sign on that bitch. Werewolf Radar and the Dark Council members have ourselves a haunted island.
Werewolf Radar Island.
Werewolf Radar Island. Just throwing it out there.
And it
Not
will.
credit card fraud.
It will be a joyous place of gather. It'll be like Disneyland for people who love ghosts.
Dude, we won't change anything. We'll just be like, come bring the boat. Fit five
Well,
bucks. Come on the island. Do what you
and
want. No
and
peeing.
here's some of the other things you get. You get an unspoiled, attractive woodland landscape. There's a spacious villa, citrus groves, a boathouse, a dock, a lighthouse, private beaches, charming views of the sea.
And
You think
us, the
that's,
crew
yeah,
of Werewolf Radar.
and we'll be there. This would seem to be a steal for a whole private island. Yet, even in this paradise among other surrounding islets owned by the rich and famous, no buyers have ever come forward to make an offer or to even make a viewing.
I don't understand. Not even like a foreigner like us who doesn't care about your culture, and we care about the culture of it. If we were to buy it in Pipe Dream, I would suggest we save it as like a unspoiled archaeological site, like it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it is what it is. Uh but not even like someone stupid like us to be like, I'm gonna build a building on it. Like Elon Musk, like a foreigner who doesn't care. That's
Oh,
surprising
yeah.
to me.
You'd think you'd think he would buy it just so he could say he owned a part of World War II.
Yeah. Cause like
Some
2
creepy
million
shit
two
like that.
million euros is not that much, man. The American house market is so fucked up, and other places are too, to where like 2 million euros is like a house on the fucking street.
Yeah, yeah. I've been to Zillow. I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen how bad it can get.
Yeah. So like this is within like the modern American's price range for a haunted island. Ghosts are included for free.
Yeah.
We need to get Eugene Kenny back on.
Yeah, we do.
He can sell this shit. Anyway,
It would seem that most people do not find the thought of living on an island so wrapped in a gruesome dark history to be very appealing, whether there are actually ghosts there or not. Perhaps it is better this way. Perhaps it is better to leave any shadowy denizens of the island alone amongst the picturesque scenery, where they can seethe in their eternal anger and solitude, and where the ire spurred by the anguished memories of their wicked past will not spill over and harm the living. Or, of course, it goes on to say if you don't believe in that sort of thing and have 2 million euros lying around, you could just own a haunted island for a bargain.
yeah, this guy gets it.
Let's do one more here. Some haunted islands have passed going back to truly ancient times. Out among the many islands of the Federated States of Micronesia in the western Pacific Ocean is a rather curious place imbued with its own colorful past and myriad mysteries spread out under the tropical sun and ringed by white sand beaches. Here, connected to the eastern coast of the Micronesian island of Pohnpei, and lying within a lagoon is an impressive array of 92 artificial islets intersected by canals and built up with walls, columns, and other megalithic structures composed of coral and volcanic basalt, and the ruins of an ancient city mired in mystery. Indeed, this place called Nan Madol has managed to defy most attempts to explain its structures, and the so-called Eighth Wonder of the World, or the Venice of the Pacific, has managed to maintain a perplexing mystery to this day. Among the many mysteries of these islets is that no one is really sure why they're here or how their enigmatic structures were built. and very little is even really known about the island of the island about the
You
history
got
of this
this.
place. It is known that the Nan Madol once served as the capital of the local Sadalur dynasty all the way until 1628 before mysteriously abandoning it. That different islets seem to have served different purposes, and that this place was inhabited by high-ranking priests and chiefs. But considering the total lack of any written record, that is really all we know for sure. As for the megalithic architecture, this has created a profound conundrum among archaeologists, as no one can figure out just how they did it. Now I'm recalling that we may have covered this before.
Yeah, but we've covered everything before. Our show's been going on since before we were cocooned.
All right, well, then we trudge forward.
Yeah, we do.
It is thought that Nan Madol's megalithic architecture was constructed beginning in around 1180 to 1200 AD, and the proportions of these walls and structures are vast in scale. Many of the gigantic basalt logs used to build much of it weigh anywhere from 5 to 50 tons each, and there are hundreds of them meticulously formed into immense walls measuring up to 50 feet high and 17 feet thick. There is no archaeological evidence of any sort of technology here that could account for such massive blocks being moved from distant sources over the ocean and hoisted into place, and no evidence anywhere in the region of anything even approaching this sort of marvel of engineering. Making it all the more befuddling still that rather than just build these structures on land, the people who created them chose instead to make them upon these elaborate artificial islets at great extra expense and effort. Explorer Yvonne Mackerly has said of this oddity, quote, "The peculiar location of the city raises another baffling question. Why was it raised in the ocean waters and not on land? Each structure had to be built on a specially constructed artificial rectangle in the water, edged by long basalt boulders and filled with coral granules. 92 such artificial islets cover the area of 2.5 square kilometers. Why did the early builders come up with this insane idea, demanding the grueling labor of building artificial sea islands when there are so many natural coral reef islands here, or
We
when
we
they could
talk
simply clear the shore of a few palm trees?"
we talk about it all the time, and it's because we did today during and before the grave nugget, or maybe after, it doesn't matter. But because they could and they were bored, they had free time. Why the fuck not? I think I can, so I will.
Yeah. Well, also,
But that's my own belief on early peoples. That's why their stuff was so crazy. They had the free time too because they were waiting for their harvest. They already had food, so they were like, why not build this?
yeah, and I mean, and I suppose to some degree, there's if a person who's like high up has a vision and it's like,
Sure.
what if we picture this? And then they have a really solid pitch.
Yeah. I'm on board. You're the one talking to God, man. I
Yeah,
was already in when you came down from the temple.
I was ready to say yes no matter what it was, but this is fucking
But
cool.
yeah. Then you described it, and now I'm willing to sacrifice. You need my child? Sacrifice? Make sure it works.
Considering the utter lack of any written records on their construction and the void of anything even resembling it anywhere else in the history of Micronesia, all of this has left questions and speculation surrounding their construction, and how they were made depends largely on who you ask. The islanders themselves have a rich lore concerning the ruins of Nan Madol. According to them, the structures have been there since before their ancestors even arrived, and they believe the massive stones were magically levitated there by two powerful ancient sorcerers called Olisihipa and Olasopa, who would go on to create the city and prospering civilizations of the Sadalur kings. The locals claim that beneath the city lie vast networks of tunnels and tombs, and this was once the land of actual giants and the stomping grounds of various spirits.
All right.
Indeed, yeah. Indeed, the locals say the place is prowled by guardian spirits who will attack those who dare enter, and that the ancient kings placed potent mystical wards against outsiders on this place. One of the only real extensive archaeological investigations into the mysterious islets was made in 1874 by Polish anthropologist Jan Kubary, after which his ship promptly sank to take its valuable artifacts with it. Another story concerning the supposed curse of Nan Madol is the tale of English archaeologist F.W. Christian, who supposedly entered a secret tomb within the complex and found the skeletons of actual giants measuring 10 or more feet in height. We will never know if this claim is true or not, because a massive storm is said to have lashed the area at the time, causing him to abandon the investigation, after which he would, of course, die of a mysterious illness the following day and take the secret mystery of the tomb to his grave with him.
That disease was syphilis.
Probably.
More than likely. Or like some
Uh,
weird just bacterial infection because people didn't wash.
yeah, right. Could have been a lot of things. In later years, in the 1900s, a German governor on the main island of Pohnpei by the name of Victor Berg supposedly also found a tomb of giants and died not long after from mysterious causes. They also, I mean, these are European people exploring an island where they could have been bitten by a bug
Yes.
that, like, has a poison that everyone who's lived there for 10,000 years is immune to.
Yeah, like it's not what's the right it's the Montezuma's revenge is not because Mexico's water is dirty. It is because Mexico's water has different bacteria than what we in our part of the world are used to.
Yeah.
So we aren't used to it. It takes about 2 weeks or about a week to 2 weeks, I think, to acclimate your stomach bacteria to new water. So you have some issues for a little
And
bit.
then, yeah, yeah. And then you're fine.
But yeah, that was happening all the time. People were just all like dying from that, for example.
I got to run so bad. Whether there's a curse or not, there has been very little scientific investigation into these ruins at all. However, these ancient people did it. We are unable to do it even now with our modern technology. The ruins remain almost a complete enigma, and this general shoulder shrugging within the scientific community concerning Nan Madol has left the door open for all sorts of more fringe theories. One is, of course, that the structures were really built by the giants of island lore, and there have
Sure.
been stories to support this. Uh, Besides the tale of Kubari finding a tomb of giants and that of the German governor, there are supposedly enormous coffins made of platinum removed by the Japanese just before World War II. But these, of course, also disappeared into the mists of history. There have also been scattered reports of coming across human bones far larger than normal, but these are also, of course, unsubstantiated.
I also don't know what I much think about the giant bone theory
Yeah, yeah.
since Europeaners are short, especially at this time. Like the average height, what's the average height of a European dude?
It's
Google,
probably
do
it's probably
stuff.
6 foot tall.
Dude, no.
You think it's
Average,
less?
I know it's less. European average female face by country. What a weird Google that search. Okay, so here we are. It's in centimeters, but we're on an average of 177 centimeters. I'm typing that in now.
All right, all right. This is
And
everybody's favorite part of the show. It's
damn straight
Googling.
it is. So 177 meters is no, centimeters in feet. You drunk?
Yeah, 177 meters is quite tall.
The average height of a European person is 5'8".
No shit. Okay.
5.8, sorry. So a little bit taller, I think. So 5'9"
Oh,
ish,
right.
maybe.
Okay.
So they're short nowadays. And I think people were shorter and we're getting taller, if I believe right.
Yeah.
If I understand stuff from my very weird biology and anthropology course, humans are getting taller and our dicks are getting longer.
I believe your anthropology course is correct.
Okay, good. I thought it was just a weird perverted anthropology course.
Uh,
Difference between going to a state college and a university, you know.
well, yeah, yeah. One of
But
them's online.
giant bones, like I mean, like if your culture's average height was maybe 6'2", those bones would look giant, you know. You'd be like,
Right.
Jesus Christ, that
Right.
femur's huge.
Well, other theories are that Nan Madol is actually the remnants of some lost civilization, or that it's the actual location of such ancient lost lands as Atlantis, Lemuria, or Mu.
Maybe
There was,
Mu, but not the other two. The other two were Atlantis civilizations, I think.
yeah. I mean, could be that
Atlantic
it was
Ocean
all.
civilizations. I mean,
Oh, gotcha.
yeah, Lemuria and
And Atlantis
Atlantis were
supposedly
in the
are
Atlantic
like,
Ocean, and
yeah.
Mu was in the Pacific, I think.
There is, of course, the idea that aliens made it,
Yep.
as well as the idea that it was built by Greek sailors in 300 BC for some reason.
It 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 could be of Greek like building. The Greeks did a lot of stone docks, I do believe.
Okay, all right, all right. And even that is it's some sort of ancient weather manipulation device that works by channeling seismic activity up through the structures to spew into the atmosphere and create storms.
How high are you?
For now, it all remains unknown. We still do not know who built this strange place, why, or how, and it remains a place where legends, myths, and historical oddities merge into an almost mystical realm of the unexplained. So that is this new installment of what did I call Ilando Kilrizian.
Yeah, yeah. I like it now. You won me on it now. Okay, well, if that's then your segment, I shall take the skull.
I'll underhand toss you.
Oh, easy
Uh,
now. I don't want to drop it. There we go. I caught it safely and securely. It is now eating my stomach, but
well,
I didn't drop it.
it's like a football catch. You want to grab it, pull it in. It's bound to bite.
If I get it complete, if the pass is a completion, that's the yardage, not me running with the ball. Me catching the ball securely is the success. I was looking for a segment. I'm doing a cave like part in the game that I'm doing for Dark Council members. Check out that Patreon. PC members only. I'm sorry, Mac people. And I've been looking up mysterious caves. Ooh.
Ooh.
And one that kept coming up over and over again was the tale of the M-shaped cave. We may have talked about this before in the past, but it's always good to rehash because if our community is anything like us, we're forgetful and stoners, and it is what it is. But we're going to do a nice little read on this. I'm pulling this from allthat'sinteresting.com.
I don't know if
Uh,
we've done the M-shaped cave. I don't
it's
recall it for
crazy.
sure.
It's crazy. So, this article is titled, if you want to read it yourself, and I'll start having the links in our YouTube video. I'm going to take more time on our YouTube video on the whole thing. But we're gonna start having better quality stuff. So it's gonna take longer to produce, but it's gonna come out maybe on Tuesday instead. Long story short, let's go into this phenomenal piece by Rivi Leon, edited by Maggie Donahue. I might be pronouncing both those names like an insane person, but we had fun there. The chilling story of how Kenny Veach disappeared while looking for a mysterious, vibrating cave near Area 51. Is that enough fucking keywords for y'all?
Is this a sex thing? The
It's
vibrating
not.
cave?
It's not, sadly, but could be. We can make it a thing.
All right, all right.
So in 2014, a YouTuber by the name of Kenny Veach was exploring a mysterious M-shaped cave, in quotation marks, that was discovered by him near Nevada's Nellis Air Force Base in the Mojave Desert. Afterwards, he mysteriously vanished.
No shortage of weirdness there.
No, everything I'm saying is red flag keyword for paranormal people like us. I was looking for mysterious caves. Of course, that search brought up the M cave.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I kept reading all these stories. This is the best one, but it was all like every word just got better and better to be like, oh, okay, huh. I recognize all that. These words together mean more than separate. In the words of now Rivi Leon, on November 10th, 2014, a 47-year-old solo hiker and YouTuber named Kenny Veach disappeared while hiking in the Mojave Desert, and he hasn't been seen since. He was searching for a strange, vibrating cave that was shaped like an M. He had previously stumbled upon this cave earlier that year, and this cave was not far from the fabled Area 51. However, he disappeared shortly after telling people that he was going on a short overnight hike to find this cave, or to relocate this cave. And
so
no one knows what happened to him.
You always, if you're going to go on a hike like that, you want to let people know where you're going.
Mm-hmm. He did it proper, told people, this is where I'm going. This is how long I'm staying out. This is what I am doing. He was also very well prepared. He was a desert snake enthusiast. Like he knew his shit. He was ready for desert survival, you know? I forgot that character me and Sam did all the time. Who was the world-class snakeman?
Oh, I don't recall.
But he was one of them, but actually like worth his salt. Like he could survive in the desert. He was born in Vegas, avid hiker. His YouTube channel was Snakebite McGee. On this channel, he documented his days on long solo expeditions. We're talking day-long expeditions through this desert that he is becoming over time very familiar with.
Right, right.
He collects animal bones, other curiosities, and decorates his house with them. So he's a desert man. You know how I'm a city boy? He's a desert man.
He's a future raider in the Fallout
Yeah,
world.
yeah, exactly. In the Mad Max universe, he is
he's leading a gang.
Yeah, he's toe cutter.
Yeah.
Shortly before his disappearance, he had reportedly left his job at a coffee company, a service technician.
Well, you could
Just
service
I assume working
frappuccino
all the
machines or
cappuccino
whatever.
machines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he left
Or
his
you can live
job.
among the snakes.
He left his job and was trying his luck at becoming an inventor. So a pretty solid technician. He had a few ideas of how to make various systems of coffee making, I assume, work better. During his this time, he created what he claimed to be an improvised or an improved version of a toilet paper holder. Okay, never mind. I thought it would be more coffee related. He also submitted his invention to the show Shark Tank.
Oh,
Neat.
did he get on?
I don't think he did, or else it would probably have a link to that episode, you know?
Right.
He also attempted to sell his house, but with an unusual condition. The buyer had to hire him as a caretaker and agree to let him continue to decorate the home in his own style.
Well, I
That's
mean,
an insane man.
I don't know. It's
I
not
I
that
might take
crazy,
back
is it?
some of
Like,
the things I said about his survivability. In the he might understand the desert, but I
no, he
don't think
knows the
he
desert.
understands our
He doesn't. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
he does not understand our society, city society. He was trying to sell his house in the best way possible. Could you imagine if someone said yes to that?
I think there might be an old Addams Family episode where basically that happens.
No one takes him up on this offer.
Okay.
Uh, his true passion, as we've discussed multiple times, was solo hiking in the Mojave and Great Basin deserts. He camped for days with just the basics, no GPS, no compass, nor maps. Occasionally, his girlfriend, Sher, that's an insane way to spell Sharon, I think, Sheryon.
Yeah, sure.
Sharon Pilgrim joined him on his adventures, but most of the time he was hiking alone. So
Sharon Pilgrim?
just to reiterate,
Sounds like he made this person up.
no, she's my girlfriend. She's from a different desert. But he has the expertise, as we discussed. He's doing some insane financial things that we would discredit his survivability for. But in the desert, he's the snake bite master.
Yeah, yeah.
I forgot
Snakebite McGee.
he's snake bite McGee. So in June of 2014, he took to the comment section of a video titled "Son of an Area 51 Technician," which I of course forgot to look up that video. I do apologize.
Well, I think it's safe to say that son of an Area 51 technician is going to have a fabulous story about some sort of desert encounter.
Oh yeah, but I'm hoping that the video is there, but from what I see, the video "Son of an Area 51 Technician" does not exist to find the true comments. Although I bet some of these videos, such as Area 51 Technician's son disclosed secret of alternative energy, is the same one. It is also from Fraud Stephen Greer.
Ah,
Under the comments, he takes to relay a very chilling story. The post describes a hidden cave he found near
Nellis.
Nellis Air Force Base, just south of the famous Area 51. The article says infamous, but I think of it more positively because I'm a
Yeah.
government shill.
Well, we all know about it. It's famous.
With an entrance shaped like a perfect capital M. As soon as he
Monstro Cave.
yeah, it's the Monstro Cave. That's why he didn't exit. He's probably the New York City detective. They probably used his bone, shoved a soul in there, then they just reproduce, mass production for the masses. So he enters the cave and he claims that he starts to feel very unusual vibrations through his body and an indescribable fear.
I
His
mean,
own, go on.
it does kind of sound like, you would think you're in an earthquake
The
inside of a cave.
Especially if you had like a weird not weird, but you know what I mean, a sort of like a water running, like a low frequency water bouncing off of the walls, affecting the human brain in ways that we don't really conceive at first. And then
Right. Ultrasound. Or not
ultrasound,
it's not
baby.
ultrasound, but
Infrasound.
yeah, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, we did find a baby inside him though.
But here is his words. Kenny Veach. I always enter every cave I find, but as I begin to enter this particular cave, my whole body began to vibrate. The closer I got to the cave entrance, the worse the vibrating became. Suddenly, I became very scared and hightailed it out of there. That was one of the strangest things that has ever happened to me. He told this to Nevada Magazine. He also added that I solo hike across mountaintops and probably mountain types that most people wouldn't dare go. And I have been in more caves than I can count. I play with rattlesnakes for fun. But this one particular cave was well beyond anything I ever encountered. For those of you who are doubting it, here is the picture on this fucking dude. This is him with a baby rattlesnake. Not only does he play with them for fun, he bullies their children.
I guess Snakebite McGee is not just a funny moniker.
No,
It's something he does all the time.
he is truly
Oh,
Snakebite McGee.
he's walking around with a pouch full of different anti-venoms.
Oh, dude, for sure. And to be honest, like our friend of the show, veterinarian, uh, Dr. Kevin Fitzgerald, uh, probably donates a lot of it. He probably goes out there, finds rattlesnakes, milks them, and gives them to hospitals. That way they
Oh,
have
that makes
anti-venom.
sense. Yeah, yeah.
It's a big thing for states and communities with rattlesnakes. Colorado's one of these states and communities. I mean, redacted. Don't worry about where we are. Uh, so after Kenny posted about this chilling experience, a number of YouTube users responded with interest, encouraging him to return to the cave and then document the hike and provide evidence of this strange discovery. I think we'd be one of them. In October 2014, he left armed with a 9mm handgun, normal provisions for a couple-day hike, and attempted to find the M Cave. In a video,
shoot it down.
Titled M Cave Hike, posted on October 18th, he had to admit that he was unable to relocate the cave. In the video, he says that he found a tarantula, a tortoise, and a ram, but he couldn't find the cave.
That's like Lewis and Clark journal levels of shit that I saw in the forest.
Disappointed, of course, his YouTube comment section got flooded. Everyone's criticizing him. And a lot of people push him to go find the cave again.
Well, maybe
One
it was
comment,
vibrating because it was on the verge of collapse.
yes. One comment, however, stands out. A few of them were saying this, but this one was the one that culturally we have all latched onto. And where is it? I had a picture of it. It doesn't matter. One user said, "No, don't go back there. If you find that cave entrance, don't go in. You won't get out."
Yeah, I mean, I'm with that person.
November 10th now is upon us, and Kenny embarks once again to the Sheep Mountains, and telling his loved ones that he does plan on returning the next day. This is only a day, less than a day's hike away from where he lives, essentially. And he is never found again.
Well,
So, mysteries afoot, boys. Get the dogs. It's time to search.
it is weird. I mean, I suppose there's
And things could still happen. You can still trip. Anything can happen. You can lose your footing.
right.
No one can be perfectly sure of survival, but he's done it before. He's got if it was him versus us, Nate, me and you together would die immediately. And he would be all like, there
Oh,
was
yeah.
plenty of food out there, you idiots.
I'm not getting more than half a mile away before I'm like, I'm a little parched. I'm going back home.
So Kenny doesn't return from the hike, and his girlfriend reports him missing, as you do in this situation. In mid-November, a search begins. In the days following his disappearance, various rescue teams explore abandoned mine shafts. A lot of places, they basically go through his YouTube videos and search those places.
Right.
They're going everywhere. Uh, However, in one particular mine shaft of vertical nature, they did find the missing hiker's cell phone.
Ooh, that's not good.
And his vehicle was discovered several miles away.
I mean, it
Dave,
sure sounds like he fell down a mine shaft.
a mine shaft that he was already used to. He wasn't even going to said mine shaft. Sorry, I've given the game away. I'm on this side. That makes no sense, Nate. Obviously, it was the government told him not to come here, and they threw him in said well or
Okay.
mine shaft.
They at least they threw his cell phone there before sending his body through the M-shaped cave to another dimension.
So Dave Cummings, the commander of the Red Rock Search and Rescue in Las Vegas, commented on the find, saying, "We found his cell phone close to a vertical old mine shaft, and we can't find another trail. It doesn't mean that he's down the mine shaft, but we have tracked him as far as we can. We are having our other crews come in from the search areas. The trail has gone cold." And then a user introducing herself as Kenny's girlfriend left a comment on his M Cave hike. She explained that Vatch had struggled with his mental health for years and may have ventured into the desert that day with the intention of dying by suicide.
Yeah, but then I think you'd find a body. I mean, maybe not. I guess if you know places to hide yourself and just be taken by nature.
We'll get into things. Okay, we'll get into things. The exact words. I want you to know that what I do not think. I want you to know that I do not think Kenny had an accident. I believe he unfortunately committed suicide. He battled with depression for many years and would not take medication nor see a doctor. He quit his job with little more than a year before his disappearance. The search for him was started within a couple days of my call. Over 30 search and rescue team members searched 3 different times on foot. One helicopter flyover was done, and there was no trace of Kenny or his or any of his camping things. So theory time. Kenny's body was never found. To this day, we don't know what happened for him. They did, of course, search a little bit in these areas and went through the mine, the vertical mine shaft, as well as possible, but they did not find his body anywhere.
Right. Do you think he might have had a little spot, a hideaway that only he knew about in the mine shaft?
He could have. He could have.
Possibly.
We have situations, of course. He did have that 9 millimeter. You just sit on the edge and go pop pop. In theory, fall in. Use it as a trash can, if you will. You're now the trash man.
But even so, I think usually once you are dead, it's pretty hard to hide your own body.
It's hard to hide your own body. I do think he could have been set up in this way, set himself up in that way. But there are also a number of people who believe, of course, that this is a government situation. He was by a secret government base where many secrets experiments have been conducted that we use now for national security in war times. But yes, I think that perhaps he could have gone by. This area is interesting, and you know about it, Nate. This is that area to where Paul Benowitz, was he the guy who Richard Doty ran a psyop on because he lived too close to this area and saw secret planes go off? So instead of like telling him to move, eminent domaining him, they said, no, let's see what we can do with this guy and see how fucked up we can get his decision making to be. We'll send a secret agent out there and tell him that, yes, what you are seeing are aliens.
Yeah.
I think he might have fallen into a situation like that. Like I think the government knew he was searching this area. And this is all unsubstantiated. This is me speculating out of my nose. I'm melting. I'm oozing speculation from the speculation holes. But I think that it was a government psyop on this guy. And I think he if it was not a Sui, I think he got close to a special experiment that was underground, and they got rid of him. Because if it was suicide, Nate, why not just drive up to it? Like, why not just kill yourself there? Why the effort? Why? I guess what I'm asking is
one last scenic hike before you.
I guess that's fair.
Yourself.
One last, he may have liked it. Fair enough. But I'm split on this could be, of course, a legitimate case of unfortunate lack of mental health care, or a lack of mental health care plus a government psyop.
Well, I'm kind of wondering if he normally would have taken a gun with him. Like that might have been a standard thing. Just
I think you take a gun with you in the wilderness. It's what you do in the mountains. If you can, you take a gun because something's got to scare a bear, and then even then, the bear's just going to take a bullet and go, "Now you've upset me."
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's like.
But you take a weapon with you. You do that in the wilderness. And he's Snakebite McGee. Of course he's got a 9mm. He's got more than a 9mm, my friend. On a normal day, he's got a lot more.
It's one part in a much larger collection.
Yes. But it's 2 parts equally for me. I think that what he was experiencing was legitimate because we have maybe a case of depression, but not schizophrenia as far as we know,
No,
not checked out, but as far as we know, he didn't have previous psychotic breaks. Although we did kind of call out him acting irrationally for selling his house in an insane manner.
Well, I mean, he cares about that property so
Cares about the
much.
property. But I'm going to wrap up my segment there, and I'm going to call it the mysterious M Cave of the mountains. The Mysterious Mountain Cave is my segment name.
All right.
We got there. We got there. And that's going to do it for us, I think, this episode of Werewolf Radar. We hope you like what we do. We hope you like what we're doing on the YouTube. We're putting more quality into the production, so episodes might take a little bit longer to get out, but it's going to be a better viewing and listening experience for y'all. So enjoy the work. And if you want to support us in the work that we do, go to our website, werewolfradar.com. There you can find a link to our Patreon, or just go to patreon.com/werewolfradar and become a Dark Council member, where you can give us a small financial donation. All sorts of extra paranormal bonuses like Grave Nuggets curated by Nate, early access to the news when we got some, early access to the video game that I'm making. Merch, of course, has designs made by Jordan. You get access to all of that depending on your tier. Check it out. And the best Patreon reward of all is our Patreon shout out that we do at the end of every month. Are you ready, Nate?
A howl out, in fact.
Oh, yeah, I messed up. It's a howl out. On the count of 3, Nick Bailey, Spooky Appalachia, Phil Corridor, Michael King, Belinda Metz, Janet Bravo, Dylan Gutierrez, Bob Ryan, AWOL 51, Amanda, Tobias Livingston, the most well-prepared dead guy, Necro Phil, Marcelo Duran, Major Consequences, Elliot Broder, Alicia Coy, Cheesebot O'Doom, Abby Kilboo, Ryan Flint, Jake Speck, a Carrion Soldier, Dean Malik, Dakota Vincent, Brian Ely, Adric Hinkle, Egon and Felix, and our Dark Lord of the Bunker, Spectacular Copper. Thank you all for supporting the show. We couldn't do it without you, and our numbers are growing. Patreon.com/Werewolf Radar. Also, our Twitch, twitch.tv/Werewolf Radar, our YouTube. If you Google Werewolf Radar, you'll find something of us. You'll find it.
Yeah.
Type in Werewolf Radar Werewolf Paranormal Podcast. We might be on page 1. We're doing better than normal.
And if you find anything else, let us know, or we will shut them down.
We will shut you down. You hear that, competition? Werewolf competition, most of all. All right. After threatening everyone, I think that's a good mark to sign off on. On the count of 3, our super sign-off line for everyone. Tell this to your friends. Make sure they're safe. It's the only way we know that you're out there when the darkness comes. All right? On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Punch the sky, Spaceman Joe.